Cenk from the Young Turks on here with Francesca Fiorentini, who I do not know. I'm sure she does great stuff or something. I don't watch any YouTube stuff. That's my fault. I'm the boomer. If you know, let me know what's going on. But they talk, and it's called Francesca's Heated Debate with Cenk on Strategy Under Trump. And I think this is interesting because, of course, TYT has been moving to the right, especially Anna. You know, Cenk's been sharing stages with Charlie Kirk. So this is a conversation about this kind of stuff. Franny's amazing. Great. Good news. I mean, it certainly seems like TYT is following where they know the money is going to be and where their bread is going to be buttered. And I think, and before I go into any of this, what I think Cenk is going to try to sell this as, and maybe he partially believes, is that he's reaching across the aisle and he is going to be the one that scoops in righties and makes them lefties. But he doesn't make, like, really compelling arguments, I don't think. I don't think he's, like, particularly likable. I think Cenk is just going to be a tool of these industries, especially right-winger, political fucking punditry funding guys. So, yeah, the left is not happy with him, but he's going around and he's like, I'll take my punches. So let's see. I don't know if I'm going to watch this whole thing, but I'm going to give it a good run. The first thing is, what is he doing? Second one is being on stage with Charlie Kirk. And then after that, it's disagreeing about right-wing populism. As far as after that, I don't know if I have much interest in the other stuff, but we'll see. We might get through 3 sections of this, but probably the first 2.
Yeah, man. I gotta say, it's not an understatement to say that I've lost sleep over what's been going on. That I've been really upset, angry, and like wounded, if that makes sense to you.
By the TYT actions, I assume.
I have also refrained from tweeting at you, Cenk. I've refrained from doing videos about you without your presence. I've refrained from misrepresenting you. But man, on the inside, it's been rough. So I do want to ask. You guys are saying she's the GOAT, and that could be true. I not imagine losing sleep over what he is saying, though. I mean, maybe that's just because I'm not involved in any of it, and maybe she's much closer to it. But, man, my faith in Cenk has never been high. I don't know. He's always been to the right of me, really. Maybe not always. Maybe since I've been aware of him. Ask you, I feel like we are in the precipice of a really perilous time of true authoritarianism.
I don't know if the Sudafed's already working, but my ear just sort of moved a little bit in a good way. I like that.
Coming to the United States, and someone like you who has been such a leader on the progressive left has such a massive role to play in this moment as a stalwart of resistance, as so many of these centrists are kowtowing to the right.
That's what I feel like Cenk has been for a long time, especially Anna. Anna particularly is centrist to me, and she's trying to do this sort of like, I want to be paid by Glenn Beck types to be essentially the furthest left person on a right-wing panel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's pretty much where her pocket is, and where she could be like, oh, look, I haven't actually Dave Rubin. Like,
And then I see you on the same stages with, and in the same rooms with, the right-wingers who are mouthpieces of said authoritarianism. And I don't believe that you are actually pushing back instead. And I think there's a project here. You're trying to find points of agreement. So what are you doing, and why are you doing what you're doing?
What are you doing is a good question.
Yeah. So I appreciate that, that you're having me on as opposed to talking about me and raging, etc., without actually getting into the full conversation. So, look, first let me acknowledge, Franny, that I get why people are concerned. So you've seen this pattern a number of times. So people think, oh, this is the beginning of the pattern. We know how that ends, right?
Because you're talking about all the other people that have worked for TYT that turned into right-wing shills? It's not just a pattern of behavior. It's like kind of your shit. It just keeps happening.
So you see Dave Rubin go talk to Tucker Carlson once. You say, well, okay, he's defending our side or finding a point of agreement, whatever, right? But then further than that, it's not just that. It's like the actual fucking content You know, he agrees with Tucker again and again and again and again. And then all of a sudden he's talking about how bad the left is and how, you know, my favorite example about how the forest fires in California started because the fire departments allowed gay people to join.
Right. Wild.
Yeah. And Franny, we've seen this movie many times, and me especially as a Muslim, because Israel always finds collaborators.
Is he a practicing Muslim? Is this true? I didn't know this.
And to come out and go, oh, look at this Muslim guy. He says Muslims are violent, and it is in their book, and it's all their fault, right?
Or is he just like ethnically identifying
one
or
of those
something?
mouthpieces. So I understand, guys, that pattern exists, and so why people would be concerned the minute it seems like you're taking.
I didn't think about that at all.
The first step there, but it is possible to not do that pattern, and we are not doing that pattern. And there's massive differences there, right? So they let go of all their positions. We've let go of none of our positions. And people think this is after the election. But apparently, as you know, I've been battling what I call the far left for years now.
The far left. Do you see what I'm saying? I have been battling the far left for you. But do you see what you do? You cause a rift right there. Now you are saying, look, the right wing, the far left, those crazy psychos battling for trans rights and fucking healthcare and shit. But what you don't realize, Cenk, is that when you say the far left, you give right-wing people the permission to dismiss any left-wing thing they don't like as the far left. And it makes you a centrist. Are you deaf to your own fucking ears? Or, I guess, words? Like, this is simple stuff. You're giving them an out. You're like, oh yeah, the stuff you don't like, that's far lefty stuff. But it's like reasonable shit, like the right to freely express who you are, trans rights, you can let Anna know about that. The right to not fucking get ruined by a corporation because they don't want to pay for your healthcare because it's not profitable for them. That's not fucking ethical, dog. Like, what are we talking about?
So I think that's a perfectly fine area of disagreement to have within a movement.
Nope.
I know that some people think, no, we're not allowed to disagree. And anything.
What do you mean not allowed to disagree? You can disagree. You saying stuff I don't like is far left is not disagreeing. It is dismissal. Fucking dude. Ugh. I'll talk. I would love to talk. I don't even watch the Young Turks. I just disagree with him.
Disagreement is heresy, right? And that's a core thing that we're probably...
Disagreement is heresy. You're so fucking full of shit. I gotta pause it so much already. Like, this is like one of those things where that's not it. Anna says this same shit where she's like, oh, just a simple disagreement and everybody is on my shit. It's like, no, dude, it's not a disagreement. You don't have a disagreement. You are saying something that is antithetical to a leftist movement, right? Whether it's her fucking NIMBY shit or anti-fucking trans shit, you know, your pro-right shit. It's not a good look.
We discuss here today, right? That's one of the issues. And so now in terms of, so why am I doing it, or how did it come about? So how it came about is when I was doing that protest run against Biden, I went on all the shows I possibly could, left-wing, right-wing, etc. And on the right-wing shows, I was expecting what I always get from right-wing, which is the Republicans are right and you guys are all evil and no points of agreement, just a bunch of robots, right? And what I started to see was they're not as robotic as we thought they were, right?
What?
And so there was like these flashes of like, wait, they actually genuinely hate Mitch McConnell. That's interesting.
Dude, the Mitch McConnell thing. They don't like Mitch McConnell because he doesn't help further some of their particular goals. It just depends. He's not in full coalition with Trump every single fucking time. I think part of it's just because the turtle brain is like decaying. But like, I don't think our shared hate for Mitch McConnell is a fucking valuable chip. He's dead soon. Like, what? This isn't. I could have a beer with Charlie Kirk and talk about how much we don't like Mitch fucking McConnell. Who fucking cares? How about talk to them about billionaires and why they're bad and why corporations are bad? But you won't be talking to pundits, right-wing pundits about that because that's who pays them. You'll be talking to fucking Republican voters about that. You need to have a working class message, and instead he just goes and is just trying to get buddy-buddy with all this the right-wing guys.
I know why. I know it's because Trump said he was bad, right? But at the same time, there's a second reason, and I know that a lot of people on the left don't believe it, but I'm here to tell you that I've seen it with my own eyes.
What's the second reason?
There are populists in those right-wing hills, and they don't like the establishment. They hate.
Dude, the reason that this doesn't fucking work is the same reason that Kamala lost. There is no center. There's not these mystical fucking centrists that are undecided. An undecided voter in the United States is a disaffected left-wing populist. That's it.
The establishment. Now, they don't have the same opinions with us on social issues, cultural issues, etc. And then they genuinely hate war. Now, if Trump declares war on Panama, and
they hate war.
Go along, then I was wrong. Okay, so we'll get to that too. And so more and more. And Charlie Kirk came on in the RNC, and this is the one that really threw me for a loop, and I couldn't believe it. He started talking about how bad BlackRock was and how private equity is buying up all the homes in America. And I'm like, that's what we think. That's what we say, right? And I couldn't believe that Charlie Kirk, of all people, was coming in our direction on that issue. And
he wishes Charlie Kirk was coming in his direction. Ayo.
So I think their funding might have changed, to be honest. So
I hope you have a fantastic day.
You Neffel 4 months. Let's go. Appreciate you. The undecided or swing voter is the person who swings from Democrat to couch, not Democrat to Republican, right? Like it really is, though.
The right is not the monolith that we thought they are. And right now, since they've got...
It's the left that is not monolithic because, of course, we're critical fucking thinking. Even dumbass fucking liberals. And let me tell you, liberals can be on some dumbass shit. Some of them mean well. A lot of them are dumb as shit. But it's mostly like... I'm going to be honest. Your dumbest liberal is better than your smartest Republican. All my frustrations with liberals really live in the Democrat, like someone who identifies as a Democrat. But a lot of them mean well. You know what I mean? They're just stupid and out of touch. They're just like, oh my God, my upper middle class townhouse is a totally reasonable thing. Like, there's no problem with landlords whatsoever, but, you know, I really do think we should have some means-tested tax breaks for lower-income families. It's just like, come on, man.
Gotten past the robotic establishment, they're in a state of kind of chaos, a chaos that's not so bad, in my opinion. And you're seeing it today, like MAGA attacking Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. If they were a monolith and they were robots and they were a cult, that would never happen. Now, I happen to agree with Elon and Vivek on that issue.
Oh my God.
I was going to ask you, actually.
Yeah, but first of all, hey, there I am agreeing with Elon and Vivek. Why? Because they agree with us on H-1B
So this is about
visas.
HB1 visas and allowing high-skilled professional immigrant workers who work in tech to be allowed in. The MAGA base says that that's obviously immigration and they want to cut down on that. But Elon and Vivek, again, millionaire and the richest man on earth, want that. Does that not fly in the face of some of what you've been saying about the base and how the base is actually great and the base has great populist ideas? One of those populist ideas, Cenk, is mass deportations, is stopping any migration, is getting people out of this country.
Is deportation a populist message? I guess I don't know how you break that down. Maybe it is. I mean, I think it's pretty like it's scapegoating the problem because the problem is corporate greed. And instead, the corporations are trying to point at other groups. But what's going to happen is they're not going to address the climate problem. They're not going to address fucking medical problems. You're going to start to see soil deterioration. You're going to start to see, which means crops yielding poorer and poorer, which means food prices going further up and up because they don't take anything into account and think ahead. They only think about dollars right now. And it might just fucking take real, actual fucking global disaster to make any fucking change. And this is where we're fucking at, man. So I guess what I do not see is you reaching out and trying to do good with any of this. I just see you agreeing with them.
Yeah. So, Franny, it's a great question. And so that's why what's happening today is actually so interesting.
Don't worry. If you're an American, you will have very high food prices and stuff, and poverty will be a problem. But you better believe America will destroy every other nation that exists before allowing its people to not have every damn thing it wants. Soil in California is becoming exponentially unproductive. It all is, because of course, right? Because they overproduce. We literally overproduce on these farmlands. It just is not sustainable. Like, they don't even think about it. Obviously now, and then throw most of it away, right? And for the sake of $1. It's just disgusting. 40% food wasted last I read. 40 fucking percent. You cannot run a restaurant with 40% food waste. And these motherfuckers are like, oh, we're going to run the country like a business. No, you're fucking not. You're running it like a personal fucking bank. You dumb fuck. And then dumb motherfuckers like Cenk will hang out with the guys who are telling dumbasses to vote for the same fucking people robbing them.
Because
we're being robbed. I want everyone to know, robber barons, the billionaires, we collectively as human beings working towards the productivity of like everything, like trying to make people's lives a little better, whether you work in the service industry or medicine or fucking farming, whatever. We're being robbed collectively as a society.
Are we allowed to agree with anyone on the other side?
Not by the fucking government, by the way. And like, the government does its fair share of shit. I mean, the government is allowing the kleptocracy, really. So that's like the problem. But the government itself is a fucking sidestep from the problem, because the media is who tells you all these, like, it's a big fucking thing. The Fox News apparatus is going to, at some point, the retrospective on that, whenever that dies, and whenever we have a society that can look back on that with fucking real lenses, we're going to look at that and be like, yeah, I mean, this is like probably a non-American source. We'll be like, look at this fucking propaganda wing of the right wing. It's crazy. It's insidious. It's fucked up generations of people. And it's pro-corporate messaging is leading us into a very, very tenuous like wealth distribution. It's just not sustainable. It's obviously not sustainable. Like, they have to release the pressure on the lower classes, or it's going to boil over and they're going to get Frenched. It just is what it is.
Terrible.
The problem is, of course, that's going to be like fucking cyberpunk corpo wars type shit, because they have enough money to fund militaries.
You see back that crazy radical right-wing party in Germany, etc., right? But that doesn't mean he's wrong about these visas. We've had that position on visas our whole lives, right? We agree with, or he has now come to agree with us. Same with Vivek. Now, but what's interesting is, so now MAGA, the populist base of MAGA, rebels against Elon and Vivek. So number one, that shows that that my thesis that they will rebel against their leaders is true. Okay. Now, do I agree with them on this rebellion? I don't. But
he's like counting on their inherent instability to get through this, and while like there's a portion of that that's going to be true because they are inherently unstable, they're also deeply malevolent. So it can't just be you try to reach across the fucking aisle all the time.
Remember, just because they're populists doesn't mean they agree with us on everything. On social and cultural issues, we have massive disagreements. Massive. I'm looking for the agreements on the economically populist stuff. So on this one, they're anti-immigration. And so, again, it's not a monolith. It's a little bit more complicated. But overall, the massive MAGA is anti-immigration. And I obviously don't agree with them on that. I'm an immigrant. And I'm first generation. I wasn't even born here, right? So all this talk of deportations, and now this crazy thing that one of them came out with, denaturalizing people, that's just nuts, right? So, yep.
It's Nazi shit.
And I say that to their face in all the shows that I go on. I go, look, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. I think you're nuts on this, right? But now we do agree on some things, anti-war, anti-corruption, etc. Even if I know, guys, Trump is massively corrupt, and they've been misdirected. But within that chaos of the right wing, interesting different coalitions can break out, as you're seeing today with these different coalitions.
Cenk really wants to try to say, look, I'm trying to sow discord and and pull some of them up. It's not going to work, man.
Thin MAGA. So imagine if we had, look, this is really wild, right?
I'm not following you.
You've got to take a first step to be able to get to this ultimate conclusion. Imagine if we had voting blocks that weren't strictly Republican or Democrat or strictly MAGA or not, and we could then join the voting block, in this case with Vivek and Ilan, and protect these visas, right? Or in another case, we could join the populist right-wing bloc and prevent a war. Again, those...
The populist right-wings to prevent a war. Dog, we grew up in the Bush administration. What are you talking about? Why are you pretending that there is Donald Trump has talked about expanding the United States to Panama and Greenland and Canada in the last week. I don't even understand why this anti-war thing keeps coming out of your fucking face.
Those are like huge dreams.
I think it's sort of a deal with the devil either way. I do want to just step back. I want to step back from the news a little bit and truly understand what you believe you are doing and who you believe you represent. Just really briefly, who you believe you represent when you go on these shows. You say we
Good
a
question,
lot,
yeah.
and I'm not sure who you are referring to when you say we. Is it yourself? Is it you? And is it Anna and you and Anna? Is it all of TYT? Is it the broader left? Who do you think you represent when you go on these shows to make the case about how there's commonality?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So, great question again. So, first off, for folks who don't know, Young Turks is the flagship show of the TYT network. So, the TYT network is the whole left. So, Franny's on the TYT network. This show's on the TYT network, and at least on the podcasting side. And so, Franny is to the left of me on many issues. So is Jordan Ewell. So is so many other people, right? And so I never block anyone from stating their opinions. Yeah. And I like that we have the whole range, right?
Okay.
And
the whole left. He represents the whole left.
In the past, we've had David Pakman as part of the the YouTube network broadly.
But who's the we, Cenk? Who's the we? You've said these things before, and I have thoughts on them. But who's the we?
So that's TYT. TYT is that whole spectrum of left-wing thought. And as you know, Franny, we debate on the show all the time.
We don't. We really, I just want to be fair. We don't. Because if we did, we would have had this conversation many, many times, but we don't. Number one, no. I am not the main host. Anna Kasparian is. Number two, I am rarely the fill-in host. Jordan Ewell has been filling in quite frequently. Number three, when I do fill in...
Dude, all the people that work with Cenk are having a hard time with him, man. His relationships with these people are so interesting because it keeps coming to this kind of shit. It must be so... He's frustrating enough, right now, disconnected. It must be frustrating.
As a host or as a guest, depending on the story is when we can actually sometimes maybe squeeze in 1 or 3 minutes of debate, but we have to keep it moving. That is the job. The job is to do the news. It's to get to all the different things. So I just want to say that it's very unfair to say that these debates have happened on the main show. Certainly not with me, maybe once around trans issues, but I want to leave that aside. Who is we? Who are you saying when you say we?
Okay, but let me address that real quick. But yes, but I've gotten into so first of all, we do the news, so we debate within that news story.
Oh my gosh.
Is it a shorter period of time? Yes. Sometimes I'll do longer ones. I did a longer one with Jordan Ewell and Jules Sulzdayev, et cetera, and here we are within the network, et cetera. So now that's TYT is the left in general. Young Turks is the flagship show. That's me and
TYT
Anna.
is the left in general.
I would crazy. Say that we, as in me and Anna, are maximum populist, but not maximum left, right? So I am maximum left on some issues, but not all issues. And so those are two different political spectrums.
Maximum left. Maximum populist. What does he even think populism means? I don't... What?
Spectrum and the establishment populist spectrum. I mean, now I see Emma Vigeland defending the establishment, which is mind-blowing.
Like what?
What
is the establishment?
I want to leave that aside, but I just want to, because I really want to talk about...
What is the establishment?
what you are doing and what you
Name dropping Emma, by the way.
believe you are doing. And I want to just explain.
Cenk, populism is where the polls lead. Oh, man.
By showing. And I want to ask you what you think the goal is of what you are doing. But here was a moment where you were on TPUSA's on Turning Point USA's conference, and Charlie Kirk, who is a Christian nationalist, he's an avowed Christian nationalist. Yeah. TPUSA has had wildly racist and white supremacists associated with them, including inviting people like Nick Fuentes to speak. Yep. No matter what you think of his thoughts on BlackRock, here is him asking you about left media. And I got to say, Cenk, this one sucked real hard for me.
Let's hear
it. And
you
also, I think I've been using these opportunities to talk a lot about the left to the right.
I think the left has some work to do in developing over-the-top media to be able to bypass the main networks.
Yeah, so we have TYT as a giant network, but we have a lot of great progressive and populist shows that are not part of TYT. That's in the left-wing ecosystem.
I just want to stop and say I'm excited to hear which ones you like, given that you just sort of insulted Emma Vigeland just now. I'm curious which ones you actually do still support that aren't your own, but I'm going to keep going, Cenk. Hang on.
So I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think
He's
that
not going to name drop my ass, that's for sure.
Enough shows. I think that there's a couple others. One, on the right, you guys do a great job of
I don't do YouTube numbers though, huh?
Coalescing. Okay, so you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
Oh my God, this is every single time. You're more welcoming. Oh my fucking God. Ugh. Dude, Charlie Kirk is using you. That's why he's welcoming. People are so taken in by being coddled, it's crazy.
We're glad Cenk's here, right, everybody?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right?
I fucking disagree? Huh? Unless you mean to vote for Trump, then of course. What do you mean welcome? What 5%? Huh? What's welcome mean? Welcome, don't talk about any of this stuff though.
Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist.
This is so stupid, dude. We disagree constantly. You're fucking dumb. If you agree with fascist stuff, you're going to get called a fascist. Shut up.
Right? But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right?
Okay, so there you are. And
yeah, I mean, you're essentially dog whistling like, oh, look at all those wokies expecting you to be polite and shit. But when they say that you're not being polite and they kick you out of their social groups, that's pretty mean, isn't it? It's like, no, what? They were fuckos, and they got told that they were being fuckos?
And,
Yeah, I love it. Stick with 100% of what I just said there. I'm 100% right about that. So let's discuss.
Yeah, let's discuss. You had your say there, and you've been saying various degrees of that same thing. And I gotta say, like,
yeah, sucks.
I watched this whole, I watched the whole clip, and it started off, and I was like, this is pretty good.
Go.
This is good. Like, pretty good interview. I like that you're sitting down. It wasn't bad. This moment, like, truly a part of me died when I watched this.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Yeah. Oh, super. Just like shriveled up and died, floated away into the ocean. Here's what happens. A couple things. He asks you about left-wing media and why there isn't more left-wing media. Which already, as you were there,
money, by the way,
in the sort of
corporate disinterest in the left-wing idea of not liking corporations, which I'm not surprised about. We just don't have money. Why would we? We're opposed to it, really, when you come down to it. We need it in a capitalist sense, but we are fighting to be rid of the need for it. So,
of turning points is like, that's such a dig. Like, why are you guys so weak is effectively what he's saying. And instead of pointing out the way that TPUSA has been bankrolled by Republican mega donors out of Chicago and many other places for years now, and talking about how the Daily Wire was funded by the fracking brothers, the Wilkes brothers. Now they're fishing for new, investors, whatnot, but that there is so much money on the right. He handed this answer to you on a fucking platter. And all you said was, you know what? You guys are really good at being welcoming. People
get fucking owned.
Just like you, Cenk. They've got all the money.
Say people just
what
like
are you
me.
talking
Oh my God, Cenk. Yeah. She's right. She's destroying him.
about? That's effectively what you're good at coalescing. And here's my question to you about so that's just number one on the media, because that just stings because I'm in media. But on the 5%, if you disagree with MAGA 5%, they still welcome you.
No,
how did that work out for Liz Cheney?
Yeah. So look, is there a part of MAGA that'll push you out? Of course.
What part of MAGA is accepting Liz Cheney?
That's what we know MAGA for.
When do they push you out, Cenk? When do they push you out?
Largely when you disagree with Trump.
Exactly.
So listen,
this is the thing that it's the unspoken thing that you're never saying, that ultimately it's all hunky-dory. Elon can tweet back at you. Vivek can listen to you. But if you defy Donald Trump, the God Emperor, you're kicked out of the castle. And no one's defending Liz Cheney. Screw both their castle and the other castle. But Liz Cheney voted with Donald Trump 98% of the time. And just the 1% when she was like, hey, you know what? You can't do a coup on this country. And Adam Kinzinger, and they were gone. So miss me with this 5% BS, yo.
So, all right, Franny, a whole bunch of things here. So, number one, you're right. That's definitely how Turning Point started. Daily Wire certainly started that way. I don't know what their current funding is, but they seem to have a lot more funding than any of us do. So you're right, and I have said that in the past, and I probably should have put that in there in that particular appearance, and I will mention that, and that'll really grate on their nerves. But I've got no problems telling their audience, and I tell them all the time, no, you guys have way more money. And they're always...
When do you tell them all the time? You've been on their shit and you don't mention this.
Shocked by that. And I'm like, because they're swimming in money and don't realize how much we're starving out here on the left, right?
Sure.
So, and I talked on Tim Pool's show about that, et cetera. Now, when it comes to the 5%, 95%, yeah, I hear you. So it's when you disagree with Trump, especially in the past, especially in the first term, et cetera, you're a goner, right? But they are pushing back even on Trump now. So, again, on things that we don't agree with, but on COVID, for example, they thought that Trump did too much COVID protections, et cetera.
Dude, Trump he waited too long and then did fucking lockdowns that were too late. So things got interrupted for bad reasons, and then he personally disrupted the Biden administration's attempts to get it corralled, and then had his entire base not masking and shit, and then it just got worse. What do you mean, man? 2 weeks to stop the spread was a Trump thing. Dude, it would have been fucking easy. It would have been easy. In a world where you just take a proactive approach and you're like, okay, hey, just so everybody knows, the forecast for diseases is coming in, and we have a prognosis of a possible pandemic coming through. So for 2 weeks, everyone just chill. And if it gets bad, like it got, they should have taken care of people. If they would have been like, okay, we're going to cut you $1,000 a week to stay at home, don't go out, and chill for a second so we can get this under control, it would have worked. But they're cowards, and they're just dumb. You got to incentivize people to do shit. You can't just fucking tell them to do shit. And then, of course, you can't have a fucking anti-vaxxer in the office while it's happening.
And there was and this is really
oh yeah, the sunshine was supposed to kill it under suit.
Encouraging. When I talk about Team Miriam, Marco Rubio, Elise Stefanik, Mike Huckabee, and Mike Walz. So those are the four that put in by the neocons put in by Miriam Adelson. In the old days, what I would have gotten, Franny, is no way, they're the greatest. They're not neocons. You're a liar. Trump picked them. Trump's the best. Now what I'm getting from the right-wing host, which is amazing, and let alone the base, they're all saying, yeah, I hear you. We got concerns about them. We got concerns, okay? So that's the thing I never heard before. So that is a change. Now, in terms of the concept that I'm referring to, the 5%, 95%, But Franny, we're in the middle of that right now. This is the perfect example. So I started the largest progressive network. I've given dozens of progressives opportunities they didn't have before.
He loves to say this kind of stuff.
I started Just Democrats, et cetera, et cetera. The minute I disagree, like 5% on trans issues or crime, everybody's like, right wing, fascist, right.
5% on trans issues or crime. Dude, look at his face and then look at hers.
That's not.
Almost every show is saying that. Almost every show.
Yeah, that's just not how it is, bro. You are freaking out.
So you telling me that you don't push people out? You're pushing out the movement overall. At least the online left movement seems to be trying to push out the one network that has helped progressives more than any other network, and it's not in dispute.
Look at you trying to be like, you know how we don't have any money? We're the only ones with money, and you're not gonna get any now. Like, fuck off, eat shit. I don't care. Fuck off. I don't need you or your fucking networks. Fuck you, dude. What a... He sounds like a boyfriend who's paid the bills or something. You know what I mean? Like, I pay the bills.
But my God, we have 5% disagreement. So tear it down. Tear it down.
Tear it down. No one is saying tear it down. They're saying you're tearing it down by your actions. They're like, you guys are fucking it up. Anna and Cenk, you guys are fucking it up. And that's what's being said to you. Nothing else.
This is the destructive extreme left that
extreme left.
That portion.
Call it extreme left. Just listen to his fucking words. This guy is so fucking lost. I would love to have a conversation.
That kind of destructive attitude is poison. It's not just poison to us, it's poison to our chances of winning.
You know what's fucking poison? Not listening to people criticizing you validly. Every time this happens, he's like, huh? They're freaking out. It's the far left. No, dude. You are courting the far right. You and Anna are courting the far right. That's what it is.
Because we keep pushing people out.
No one's pushing anybody out. You guys are walking away.
Pushing people out, and then all of a sudden we lost all the swing states and we lost the popular vote. I'm trying to get our side to wake up, snap out of our hypnosis of we hate, and we hate the right wing, and they're all white supremacists, and they're all racist, and they're all sexist, and we hate, and we never go in the room with them. We hate. What the hell happened to us? And no one's allowed to disagree. We're now authoritarian. No.
Wait, Cenk, can I just clarify?
I will never allow the left to be authoritarian, and this idea of just hating the other side is poison.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. It's like so stupid to be like, oh yeah, we hate the right. We're the ones that hate the right wing. No, motherfucker. We're saying, hey man, wouldn't it be good to have health care and education? And wouldn't it be nice if trans people could just live their lives? And wouldn't it be nice if we had uncorrupt public officials who weren't rapists or pedophiles? And they're like, no! We hate you for thinking these things. I'm considered an extremist because I don't think that you should need a corporation to live your life. Seems fucking easy.
You know what's so funny about you calling the left authoritarian is that you think the left has power. Like, I love that you think
total nonsense.
We are on the precipice of real authoritarianism and real
actual
fascism.
Authoritarianism. Yep.
And you believe that the online left are the authoritarians? I mean, I don't know how to tell you. You sound like Bill Maher and Nancy Pelosi had a kid, and it came out, Cenk Uygur. And let me just ask you, though.
It's not nonsense. You're not listening. You're blowing it off, and you're not listening. And it is a character flaw, Cenk.
Let me just ask you. So what shows on the left do you like that aren't on the TYT network?
Yeah, so I said, look, there's a lot of good popular shows on the left that I like, and it's because there are. So
name one.
Breaking Point's a good show. Kyle Kalinski's Secular Talk is a good show. He was against me going on MAGA. I haven't seen his video, but Kyle's been against us a couple of times. But I largely didn't hold a grudge on that.
But wait, let me just stop you. First of all, you had a great conversation with Crystal Ball. I think she made some really good points to you I think it was on Breaking Points. Kyle has, I think, been very disturbed, especially by your appearance with Charlie Kirk. But what you just said there, they've been against us. I really want to just dig into this idea that
they've been against us. Trump shit.
Because you're a fighter, man. That's cool. That's great. But like, you really do have a very I almost want to call it Bush-like, Cheney-like, you're with us or against us attitude.
100% wrong.
Like you just literally, I love that you're proving my point.
Yeah,
but when
he's proving it right. Like, no, 100% wrong. Shit, what?
When I say this, you truly, you sound like people are either against you, but if they criticize you, they are not. And yet, here you are, Cenk, telling the entire right wing that all you want to do is break bread with them, that you want to debate with them, but afterward you want to go have a beer.
Yes, I do.
You want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport.
You think we're going to get put in camps? You sound all right. Anyway.
Camps. This is some Matt Dillahunty shit. Not going to be camps. What the fuck are they then? What do you mean? They set up fucking temporary shelter. They're tents. It's outside. It's gated. It's camps.
Anyway.
You think I sound crazy? They're starting with Chinese people. That's my fucking family, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
That's such an excuse. Okay, they're gonna...
It's not an excuse. That's their fucking stated policy. You idiot.
What is an excuse?
They're gonna start with my people. Okay?
Sure.
It all.
Yeah.
If they start it all, they're going to start with my people. Bro, can we acknowledge that he is not going to be clocked as the kind of Muslim that they're going to kick out of the fucking country? Like, huh? It's just like he's entirely detached from reality.
Hiding behind vulnerable communities.
I'm hiding behind vulnerable communities.
Yes, you are. You're using them as human shields.
Human shields. Listen to the words he's using.
Front of vulnerable communities, Cenk.
No,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm in front of vulnerable communities.
You're standing over top of them, looking down at the wreckage while you hang out having a beer with Charlie Kirk as you smell the fucking smoke billowing up.
I'm the most endangered, Franny.
By tweeting at Elon Musk? Please.
What do you mean you're the most endangered? How is he the fucking victim? How is he like this?
Whatever.
No, help me. Come on, Cenk. This is so sad. That's so sad.
Let's take
it down. Let's simmer down. No. Simmer down. Let me just ask you
so
real
dumb, bro.
honest to God.
You already said 12 things that I need to respond to. Can I respond to them?
No, I want to ask you this one question.
Of course not.
Let's talk about you going on these shows. Just simmer down. Let me ask you one question. Imagine if Kamala Harris had won. Okay, She wins. She wins the popular vote. She wins.
Yeah, you going to hang out with Charlie Kirk?
The Electoral College, incredible, first female president, blah, 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 all this stuff. And Tucker Carlson started making all these rounds on really progressive leftist shows, went on Kyle's show, went on my show. I'm like, who the hell? Started reaching out and wanting to talk and wanting to come to agreement on things. What would that look like to you?
Yeah, it would look like Tucker was trying to reach out. Tucker's a bad example because I would be surprised if he did that. But okay, yeah, no problem.
What would it look like to you?
I wouldn't. Do I think that Tucker would be selling out? No. There's no chance.
No. Well, I'm not. It's not about selling out. What would that like? What would it just seem like? Hey, man, we can agree. Yeah, you know what? I did say that Kamala Harris was a DEI hire and she's basically a communist, but now I just feel like it
would look like he's trying to cover his ass.
Recognized you and
under the
I'm
new administration.
Here to break bread and let's talk and let's get.
He would look like a pussy, I think. He would be like, "Oh man, maybe I went too far."
Stuff done. What would that look like to you?
It would look surprising, but I wouldn't care. I'd find it interesting. Why? What does it look like to you?
I mean, to me, if Tucker Carlson did that, I'd be like, "Oh, we fucking won. We won like crazy."
Oh yeah, that too. True. Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah. When they see Anna Kasparian and Cenk coming over, they're like, "Oh yeah, we fucking won."
We won so resoundingly. He's doing an apology tour.
Yeah. And he's throwing the left under the bus. Yeah, exactly.
The ghost visited him in the middle of the night and he's completely changed his tune because he wants to throw down with the winners. We are crushing it. And I saw in that moment, you want me to play it for you? When Charlie Kirk goes, "We're glad Cenk's here, everybody." And that was the feeling that I think a lot of right-wingers...
You didn't even realize that he was doing it to you either. You let Charlie fucking work you, dude.
...have when they look at you, Cenk, where they're like, damn, yo, we crushed so hard, even this guy is turning now.
Yeah, except I'm not turning. I've said it 2,000 times.
I'm just saying what it would look like. I'm just saying what it would look...
You keep saying it like it's true when it isn't remotely true. But okay, let me address it. So, okay, number one, you're empirically wrong, because guess what's happening? Matt Gaetz has reached out to us, Tucker Carlson, to come on our shows. And so it's your exact analogy, okay? Patrick Bet-David, et cetera, and they won. They're still trying to come on the Young Turks. Why? Because they're trying to have a conversation, not because they want to do an apology tour.
No,
they think they are ascendant.
Because you have prepped your audience for picking, and they are coming there to vulture you and strip mine you. Oh man, he's so stupid.
But nevertheless, they want
the only way forward for this to work for TYT financially is to move right. Now that they've done this, it's it.
Talk to the left.
But you had to make it's because they think that your
version of the left says, no way, we never talk to the other side. But
that's not true. It's how you talk to the other side.
We're not authoritarian.
Jake, that's not true.
You're not allowed to disagree 1%, but we're not authoritarian. We have no power, so we're not authoritarian.
That's not what authoritarianism is. What the fuck are you talking about? Authoritarianism is when we tell you suck? Grow a fucking pair of balls, Cenk. What the fuck is this? What a baby.
So that's not how it works, Franny. And the establishment Democrats are also authoritarian.
I don't like how he keeps repeating her name.
So what do they say? You must agree with Kamala Harris, otherwise that's it. You're a heretic and you're being driven out from the party. You know that. The establishment Democrats have done that to us for the last 20 years.
They're sponsored by Polymarket? Is this true?
Don't tell me that there's no power on the left. There's tons of power on the left. And when the swarm comes, the left-wing swarm, you'd like to be called a woman. You racist, fascist, transphobe. What? I'm not authoritarian. No, that is an authoritarian mindset. Just you don't have to have power to have an authoritarian mindset. And there's different versions of power. There's the
The affiliate link has hit my chat. TYT.com/polymarket. Fuck yeah, bro. That's why the studio, everyone is saying, that's why the TYT studio is called the Polymarket Studio. When I say I don't watch TYT, I'm not joking.
Running power, there's social media power, there's mainstream media power, there's political power, there's all sorts of different power. So look, guys, the left, first of all,
there's also just money and actual power.
It gets back to the we. So you ask me politically, who do I represent? I represent the great majority of left-wing voters.
I disagree. I do not agree that most people agree with Cenk.
The great majority of left-wing voters are not pro-establishment. They get tricked by mainstream media into voting in that direction. It drives me absolutely nuts. But when you ask them about policies, they agree with us completely on policies, right? And the great majority of left-wing voters are not far left. They think a woman should be called a woman. And I'm not saying...
Whoa! See, they think a woman should be called a woman. Listen to him. Listen.
In some dismissive way. I'm in favor of trans rights.
I'm in favor of trans rights, but I think women should be called women. Listen to yourself. You don't. You don't even understand the trans conversation if that's where you're at. Like, you genuinely do not understand it. That's okay. You don't even have to fucking understand it necessarily. You just can't be fucking opposed like you are, bro. Actually, I do think you should be able to understand. It's pretty easy to understand, actually. While an individual trans person's experience might be complex from a social perspective and maybe a personal perspective, right? Like an introspective thing. Like it's personally complex. From the outside looking in, there's nothing.
Have a fantastic day.
There's nothing really that complex about it. You just want to express yourself in a way that makes you happy, and that's real simple and elegant. And I think it's beautiful in a lot of ways. I don't think transness is something that our society should even be thinking about or acknowledging in a perfect world, right, it should just be like, oh, this is this person, and this is my big woke anti-gender brain, but like, I don't think we would care that much if we hadn't come from such a gendered society anyway, though. River Otter, thank you. Like, we've had such harsh gender roles since the advent of like colonial Christianity, and like, we're kind of the first generation coming out of that, and deconstructing that is hard for old heads because they're like, no, this is how things are. But really, like, how things are actually are just human beings just wanting to live. Just, you get one life, just live it however makes you happy. You're okay when like a few people want to like modify their bodies to be like fucking lizards. You're okay when a few people want to hang themselves from hooks and live an alternative lifestyle, as you call it, or whatever. But when a lot of people en masse have the same or very similar like social phenomenon, now we're suddenly opposed to it, and it's like it just seems obvious that the experience of being trans is not that uncommon, because of the way that we push gender and sex and how it's supposed to make you express yourself or whatever. But it really just, it honestly just seems from a purely human perspective, you just want to be comfy, and it's whatever, man. Why women want to be called women? Shut the fuck up. It's not that deep. They make it deep. Let's be fucking real. Like, I think if you're a trans person and you're kind of on the other side of like understanding like who you are, you're like, oh shit, I'm trans and this is how I am. And I think it's pretty simple on the inside, right? You're just like, I'm me. I don't. The complex shit is other people being fucking weird.
Want to be called a birthing person? We love it. We got no problem with it. You be called a birthing person, but when you say no, we call everyone a birthing person. America hates it. A
birthing person, dog. What the fuck? No one calls it that. The only context that comes up in is when you're talking about trans people and pregnancy in like a semi-medical way in the same conversation. Otherwise, people will just say mother or something, and like in the instance that it was like a trans pregnant father, we would just be talking about that anyway. We'd be like, oh yeah, he had a baby, and it was pretty cool because not a lot of people who identify as men have babies, and this is why it's significant. You know what I mean? Like, no one fucking talks about this, Jay. Like, I cannot believe that he's listened to Anna on this topic for so long. Like, why is he still trying to go to bat for her losing fucking opinion?
Voters hate it.
I just want to say,
there's no crime. Left-wing voters hate it. So I'm standing up for the overwhelming majority of Democratic voters and left-wing voters.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Authoritarian sides of the left saying
authoritarian side of the left.
You're not allowed to disagree with the establishment. You're not allowed to disagree with the extreme left.
No one's saying that. That's a straw man.
I am allowed. I am allowed.
Hang on. Wait.
You're literally throwing a tantrum, bro.
Wait, please. I don't want to.
No, Cenk actually believes this and is stupid. He's just a dumbass. It's funny how much he keeps talking over her.
Lose the forest for the trees here, truly.
He does that to
and
everybody.
I hear what you're saying. I know it can feel online like a circular firing squad. I understand.
Billion%.
Hang on.
It happens every time.
He's so sensitive. Stop. It feels like a circular firing squad when everyone says that when I do stuff that sucks, it sucks. No, fucker. It's just, you're just, like, people don't, in your own community are saying this. These are your fucking people that you work with. These are your colleagues. These are your peers. Motherfucker, it would not be coming up if you didn't fuck up. It's so difficult being It is, because he makes it difficult. This is easy. I've never talked to the man, and I would love to have this conversation because I'm so fucking removed from it, and I can see this shit. Are you kidding me? It's obvious what's happening here. Whether he believes he's doing it or not, he might be in full fucking denial. Anna Kasparian is not. That motherfucker knows what she's doing. She is, oh man, she can smell the money. She's on it, dude.
No, I know it does. So I come from movement backgrounds, right? I've been in many spaces since the global justice movement in the early 2000s, then the anti-Iraq war movement. I've been in a lot of organizing spaces. I have been in more organizing spaces, far left spaces, than I have in campaigns, political campaigns, for example. So I know those spaces very well. I know we can often over-police one another. I know we can tear each other's throats out. I absolutely concede that. I do agree with that. At this moment, sad to say, that's not the biggest fish we have to fry.
That's an understatement. I think there is over policing in every situation. You see you ever go on Christian Twitter? I'm a sicko, so I'm in there sometimes. Christians are fucking crazy about this shit. I don't think lefties purity test, like real lefties don't purity test. Like, I have some fucking standards on how you conduct yourself, but I mean, I don't think it's a very puerile fucking vibe over here in normal people lefty land. It's like, I mean, I think things are pretty simple around here, to be honest. Woke scolds are the lowest concern of mine. Yeah, I mean, fuck them. I really, most of those people are like young, not always, but often they're like queer kids that like get a little bit of a following on the internet and don't really know how to fucking handle themselves and get a little bit of full of themselves, and then they have fucking 30,000 Twitter followers and they think they're somebody and they get retweets or whatever, and then it comes out a year or two later that, hey, they're in this terrible DM group where they share Nazi porn or something. It's always some crazy shit, and it's not like a lot of them. There's just some loud ones. Most lefty people are more interested in like finding community with people they're comfy with. Like, that's really what it's about. It's about just, hey man, can we row in the same fucking direction, Cenk? And you do not feel like you're rowing with us at all. And it's because he feels like everyone's against him. You're against us. You're the one that's doing the thing. Like, you're the fucking you're the captain on your little fucking ship, and all the people aboard it are like, hey man, should we steer left? And he's like, nah, I think we're gonna go right. And Anna's like, yeah, go right. Ding, ding, ding. I don't know what the bell person does. She's the bell lady. Ding, ding on the boat, on the tugboat. Anyway, you get the metaphor. You're doing a bad job, and it's not our fault that you're doing a bad job.
In fact, we're in, again, a moment just before Project 2025 will be implemented, and people like myself, people who are on the streets demonstrating for Palestine, will be recommended for deportation.
Yeah, let's see how that fucking goes, by the way. Where do you deport somebody that's from here? Do you just fucking black bag them? Like, what are they going to start doing? The Trump administration this time around is going to be an even bigger shit show. It really is. This is the last go. This is it. This is their big hurrah. We gotta be like, it's gonna be tragic. I mean, I think there's gonna be some tragedy involved for sure. Someday, for real. And I think that's about all we need to watch of this. We can watch more if we want at another point. I think 33 minutes of that talk is plenty for one video. I would, for real, really love, at some point after these 4 years, to really, truly love this country. To just be like, damn, we're doing the damn thing, aren't we? That would be okay. Be a little proud. Maybe it'll happen. Probably not, though. Not these 4 years. After these 4 years.